Alright, it's part 3 where nothing bad happens and they leave and the game ends and it's a really short visual novel, right? Yeah, clearly. Uh, I've added a cup of tea to my desk because Jesus Christ, they're really not joking when they say how much you need to hydrate. My throat was dying a little bit during that last scene, but I didn't want to break the flow, so kept it going. Alright, let's get back into it. Cameron watches as the motel parking lot disappears into the night. They had left most of their stuff behind in the room, only bringing along what they absolutely needed. Cameron had wanted to take it a bit slower, to think things over before running away like this. But weirdly enough, it was Devin that was ushering him out as quickly as he could. Well, no, it made sense. What was truly weird was how Cameron had felt and how he still feels now. Despite what had just happened, despite the absolute horror of it all, there's a part of Cameron that still wants to stay. Cameron has to assume that this is nothing like what Dev had seen in his previous investigations. That maybe he also felt that overwhelming feeling of wrongness. But it also feels wrong to just leave after hearing what he had heard. He'd expected Dev to want to stay after Cameron told him about Lupita. And if Dev had asked him to stay, Cameron would have done so, if only to search for a better closure after hearing her scream. Despite Dev's calm appearance, Cameron knows that his mind must be in turmoil right now. Now, with the night ending like this, he thinks that maybe he shouldn't have told Dev what he had heard. Yeah, he promised to be honest about it, but the hallucination, no. The vision felt like a lie somehow, a trick. It felt real, it happened, but it also felt like something nefarious was behind it all. He felt it when the wolf focused on him, as if that unseen something had taken the wheel and started steering things where it wanted them to go. Even if he has no idea what that something could be, Cameron hopes that's the case. The alternative is that the afterlife is really only suffering. And that would mean his mother is in the same place. That everyone's going to that place. Cameron squirms in his seat, the feeling of a suffocating dread creeping up under his neck. Drowning forever. Cameron suddenly turns to look at his boyfriend, unable to deal with the awkward silence any longer. Devin? Devin tilts his head slightly in Cameron's direction, brows raised to show he's listening. Yeah, honey? He doesn't take his eyes off the road. Either because it's nighttime or more likely because of what they just dealt with, the bear is being notably cautious. Still, there's a sense of urgency in his driving, like he's trying to get out of there as fast as he can. Cameron struggles to find the right words. Hey, let's talk when I get on the freeway, okay? I just gotta focus right now. Cameron can't wait until then. Are, are we coming back? Cameron sees Dev's brows raise again, this time in surprise. No, of course not. We're done. I'm an idiot for doing this in the first place, and again, I'm sorry. Cameron can't quash the feeling that he should be the one apologizing right now. But there's a theme park in Peyton called Southwest Adventures. I thought about going there at the end of our investigation, but we could do that tomorrow instead. Dev pauses, apparently waiting for a response, but Cameron can't think of one to give him. I think it could be fun. Cameron is almost certain that the same word Devin used just before they left to describe how the investigation would feel. Fun. I, I think we need to come back. Can't just leave things like that. That was just so fucked. Cameron sees Dev grit his teeth and the coyote feels himself recoil a bit, like he did on a daily basis with Dylan. Sorry, No, you're fine. I'm just having trouble seeing the goddamn road. Let's just leave it until I can see where I'm going, okay, hon? The coyote steels himself. He shouldn't ever feel afraid of Devin. He doesn't need to. I think we should come back tomorrow. Keep this going like you planned. There's something more to this, and I want to help find what it is. He says it firmly, in a way that he hopes to show Devin that he's not completely fragile, even if he did break down in that motel room. But Devin is quiet, and Cameron feels himself start to get a little frustrated that he's being ignored. But then the bear responds, No, I don't think so. I'll probably come back, but with another psychic. I'm not gonna put you through that ever again. Despite knowing Devin means no offense by that, Cameron feels offended, like Devin doesn't think he's good enough or strong enough to do this. But I want to, especially if you're just gonna come back. You think I'm just gonna sit at home knowing you're back in this hellhole? Listen, Cameron. I've been to a lot of haunted places, but there's something different about this town that feels really off. Fucked, like you said. And I don't want you anywhere near it. You said to pull you back if things go south, and they went south. Now it's Cameron who grits his teeth. But I want to. Do you still want it? I know you need to find answers, but after feeling what I felt, I need answers too. Dev's careful maneuvering along the broken road hits a pothole, and the interior shakes. Devin winces. Babe, please, let's talk about this later. I just want to get us to Peyton safely right now. And just like that, Cameron's determination dries up. He hates himself for being such a coward. Things had always felt unequal in their relationship, but it was rare for Dev to just say it out loud, to tell the coyote what's good for him, even though Cameron told him what he wanted. It's nothing like it was with Dylan, but the feeling is similar, and Cameron doesn't like that. Well, what if I don't want you to come back here either? Devin takes a deep breath, but manages to keep it calm. Then we can talk about it, when we're safely back home. Cameron goes quiet again. They're halfway past the lake, the body of water looking like a giant dark pit except where the moon glitters on its surface. And that's when Cameron sees something out of the corner of his eye. There's something on the road, between two craters of broken asphalt. Cameron stares for several seconds, not sure if he's seeing what he thinks he's seeing. He waits for Devin to say something, to wonder what the hell that is in front of them. But he says nothing, almost like he doesn't see it. Yet, there it is, right in front of them. And it's right where Devin is about to go, and the bear isn't stopping. Cameron manages to jerk himself out of his stunned daze. Oh my god, Dev, look! Huh? What? Dev finally looks at Cameron, his eyes off the road, and still the Jeep moves forward. Stop! Why isn't he stopping? The coyote does the first thing that comes to his mind. Time slows down. It's just like what happened back in high school right before he got hit by a car while skateboarding. He has more time to react now than he did then, though, and he slides his arm under the seatbelt to get free and reaches across to Devin's side. He grabs the wheel, and even though Devin is starting to brake, it's not fast enough, and they're less than 20 feet away from hitting it. The coyote doesn't even think, acting on pure instinct. Cameron turns the wheel to the right, hard. Devin can't comprehend what Cameron's doing before they hit something, and the jolt is far worse than any pothole he'd hit on the road. First he had been thrown to the left, slamming into the window before he bounces back toward Cameron. Then the bear is thrown into his seatbelt. In the back of his mind, he's aware that Cameron is half out of his own seatbelt, having been thrown sideways over the center console. Driven by what feels like pure reflex, Devin throws his arm across the coyote in an attempt to hold him back. Cameron's muzzle meets the bear's thick arm before his forearm smacks into the screen of the head unit. A numbing, tingling feeling explodes across his entire arm. Ah, fuck! Dev brings his arm to his side. Dev brings his arm to his chest, cradling it as he winces. Are you alright? Cameron's breathless voice next to him is enough to reassure Dev that the coyote isn't seriously injured. The airbags hadn't even deployed, even though the impact had felt serious. Yeah, my funny bone. What about you? Let me see your face. Devin tries to grab Cameron's muzzle to have a closer look at him. It's hard to see with only the glow of the Jeep's headlights, now dimmed from the swirling dust kicked up by the accident. But Cameron pulls away, opening his door to get out. Cameron, what? The coyote yelps as he seems to lose his footing almost immediately and falls hard. Cam! Dev unbuckles his seatbelt and almost tries to climb out Cameron's side of the Jeep. Then, realizing what he's doing, opens his own to get out, almost falling himself. His feet touch uneven ground. Dust coats his mouth as he looks up the road, and immediately he can still see Echo from here. He knew this was going to happen, that something was going to prevent them from getting out. He could feel it since he had started driving. He just didn't expect Cameron to cause it. The Jeep is tilted forward, the front wheels wedged into a deep trench carved out by years of flooding along the edge of the road. Dev stumbles around the front of the Jeep, squinting against the headlights before looking down where Cameron had fallen, but he only sees blackness. Cameron? He starts to panic, seriously considering that the coyote could have fallen into a sinkhole, but then... Over here! Dev looks back at the road, the dusk finally clearing, and sees that Cameron is already there, standing in the middle of it, looking around confused like he's lost something. What the fuck are you doing? Dev stumbles back around the Jeep, just wanting to get the coyote back inside so he doesn't go running off somewhere. Bear already suspects that Cameron is having a mental breakdown, and if they don't get the hell out of here soon, Dev thinks he just might join him. I saw someone. Cameron, slow down. Let me see your face. It felt like it almost broke my arm. No. I know I did. Cameron ignores Dev's paws that are reaching out toward him and starts walking up the road, looking back and forth. Cam. Ah! The stress of what just happened, along with Cameron barely acknowledging his presence, is too much. He grabs Cameron's arm, forcing him to turn fully around and face him. What the hell are you doing? Cameron flinches and raises his arms up, crossing one wrist over the other, covering his face like he thinks Dev's going to... Cameron, what? But the coyote just lowers his arms, lifting around again. I saw something. Someone. It was like a little kid sitting on the road. Didn't you see them? Devin wants to ask why Cameron acted like he was going to get hit, but Coyote is in such a clear distress that the bear isn't sure what to say. Then Cameron looks at the Jeep as if seeing what had happened for the first time. Shit, I didn't mean to crash your car. I swear I saw someone, and I wouldn't do that on purpose. Cameron's breaths start to become erratic, gasping for air. Honey, come here. I can't breathe. Dev wraps his arm around the coyote, even as he starts to try and pull away. Let go! I need to go! Listen, Cameron. Breathe with me. Dev presses the side of Cameron's head to his chest and takes a deep breath. Remember? In and out. Slowly. Devin keeps his voice upbeat, his expression cheerful, the complete opposite of what he's actually feeling right now. But showing how distressed he is clearly isn't helping the situation. So this breathing exercise is also for his benefit. The last time they'd done this was at least a few years ago now. Just like last time, it seems to work. Coyote fighting his gasping for a minute before his breathing becomes more steady, albeit a little shaky. They breathe in unison for a few minutes, Bear stroking Cameron's head like he only half an hour ago in the motel room. Was it really only 2 hours ago that he'd been giddy at the thought of a paranormal investigation with his psychic boyfriend? Finally, Cameron pulls away gently. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. You said you thought you saw someone? I thought I did. I didn't mean to fuck up your car, though. Well, if you thought you saw someone, then I'm glad you did that. Considering how slow we were going, I'd rather the car run into dirt than run over somebody. Now, just hold still for a sec so I can check you out. You face planted into my arm pretty hard back there. Dev gently turns Cameron towards the headlight of the still running car, lightly running his blunt claws through the fur. I thought it was an otter. You could see the tail and everything. One of Devon's claws grazes over a small lump under Cameron's fur on the bridge of his snout, and the coyote winces. Does that hurt? A little bit. I didn't even notice until just now. It's probably from my elbow. What about your arm? Are you sure it's alright? Cameron starts doing his own check of Devon's arm. Dude, my arm is Ow! The bear yelps as Cameron prods right into a spot that is suddenly becoming very sore. Did that really hurt that much? Not really, just surprised me. Really? Yep. See, betting it without paying. Yeah, I believe you. Just be careful with it. Cameron sighs, looking back at the Jeep. Going crazy. The relief Devon had felt after seeing Cameron returning to his usual snarky self deflates at those words. What? No, you're not. You're just... We're both on edge right now. Well, it really did feel like I was losing my mind for a minute there. Thanks for helping me. Of course. Now, just gotta check out the damage. Yeah. Back wheels aren't even touching the ground. Well, I'll have a better look. Hang tight, babe. Alright. Devon starts to analyze the status of his Jeep, and you can tell right away that they aren't going anywhere. Both front wheels are almost buried in the sandy trench below, and both of the back wheels are definitely off the ground, the undercarriage balanced on the road's edge. Still, Dev gets in and, after telling Cam to stand clear, very gently tries to back out. Bear winces at the scraping sounds from the metal undercarriage, realizing how desperate he is to get out of here considering how hopelessly stupid this attempt is. After realizing he's only spinning the wheels deeper into the dirt, he stops. The bear turns off the engine, sighing and pressing his head against the steering wheel. Sure, it sucked that his Jeep is probably all fucked up now, but that doesn't matter. More than anything, he just wants to be out of Echo. He thinks back on how strange it is that Cameron immediately tried to convince him that he didn't do it on purpose. Devon didn't need to be convinced because he hadn't even considered that was the case. But because of how he brought it up, Devon quickly shuts that down, deciding that now isn't the time for shitty thoughts like that. Finally, the bear gets out, fixing a smile on his face again so Cameron won't feel so bad. Alright, so... Cameron? Dev looks around and, to his dismay, spots the coyote a ways up the road, toward Echo again. He's standing off to the side right next to the lake. He's looking over the edge, down at the water. Hey, Cameron, are you alright? Bear jogs up to the coyote, putting an arm around him. You alright? Cameron finally turns to look at the bear. Uh, yeah. Stay next to me, alright? I want you to be close after everything that's happened. I was just trying to stay out of the way. Are you looking for something? Dev looks over the edge at the murky water below. Almost immediately after, the bear instinctively pulls back, taking Cameron with him. Yeah, just thought that because otters are good swimmers that maybe... Cameron lets out a fake laugh. Sorry, I'm crazy. Don't mind me. Come on, don't do that. Cameron goes quiet. Seeing just how unhappy Cameron is, the bear takes a deep breath, deciding to tell him. Back in the early 2000s, otter kid drowned in this lake. I wonder if maybe that's who you saw. Really? Yeah, along with a few dozen other people over the last 70 years. I have a list for the lake and other places we were gonna go. So you're saying that because... So you're saying I saw that because I'm psychic? You don't seem very thrilled with that idea. I'm not thrilled with any of this anymore. It only reminds Dev that Cameron could see anything, terrible things. And that could lead to more mental anguish for his boyfriend. Anyway, we are stuck pretty badly. What do we do? Don't worry, we got options. We'd want to get to the highway, but it's a bit of a walk. I think about 7 or 8 miles. Might be a bit too much with it being dark and on a half-destroyed road. I think we should try and get a little bit of sleep, then start walking at dawn. We'll have light, and if we keep a good pace, we'll get to the highway before it gets too hot, be able to flag down help. Cameron is quiet. So, what do you think? Remember a while back when I asked what we'd do if there was an emergency? You said there was still cell service in parts of the town. Did I? Yeah, Dev. You know what I'm talking about. Makes way more sense to find cell service right next to us and call for help rather than walk 8 miles. I don't think it makes much sense at all, Cameron. We were looking for trouble, Devin. I think we'll be fine as long as we're not trying to see shit. But you just saw... It's silent for a few excruciating seconds. Ugh. I just want to get the fuck out of here and get you home. Cameron's ears twitch as Devin raises his voice, which seems to reverberate in the silence. But the coyote just goes on standing there, arms crossed like they almost always were. Yeah, psychic or not, I'm unstable. We both know that already. No. But I'm not walking miles through scorpion and rattlesnake-infested desert when our solution is right there. Babe, please, I have a bad feeling. Sorry, who's psychic here? Dev, I can do this, trust me. We're outside where nothing's haunted, and we won't go be looking for anything, so I'm going. Cameron! I prefer you came with me, though. God damn it! Devin hurries to catch up with his boyfriend, sliding his paw into Cameron's and gripping it tightly. Cameron has a look on his face like he's a bit pleased with himself. Devin can't figure out why. It's like the coyote thinks he's winning some kind of game, and Devin has to grit his teeth so he doesn't start an argument all over again. Just an hour ago, Cameron was sobbing after seeing and hearing terrible things, and now he's walking back in the same direction like it's nothing. Maybe the coyote is more resilient than the bear had always thought. And maybe the bear is finding out how not resilient he himself is. His stomach growls loudly, and when Cameron chokingly asks if he's hungry, Devin lies and says yes. In reality, it's from anxiety, something he isn't used to feeling all that often. The bear only finds comfort in gripping Cameron's paw even tighter, and promising himself that he won't let anything else bad happen to them. And nothing else bad ever happened to them, surely. And that's it for part 3. Let's go. Ooh. And I wish I could keep going for just like hours, but this really does get to your throat. So maybe this will be my last part for the night, and pick it up some other time.